like you're hosting tonight, Rita.
No, 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 no. That was not intentional. Don, what did you do to me?
I thought I saw Don running for the hills a few minutes earlier.
Okay, hi iPad 4, who are you?
Hi, it's Kim Ray. I just loaded it on here real fast. So I don't have my name in here. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kim.
We can hear you now.
I was trying to keep it quiet because they're doing a bear hunt outside for the little kids to look in the windows.
Oh.
So it's really loud as the families walk around.
Oh, yeah, no, we couldn't hear Mark Parco before.
Hi, Rita.
This is Carol. Is my audio working?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, we're streaming live on Facebook. Woohoo.
And that's exactly why I'm not putting my face on it.
That and they closed your critical services, didn't they? Your essential services.
Like getting dressed?
No, your hairstylist.
Oh.
Oh, no, no, go. No.
Hey, this is great.
Come on. Get away.
No, I'm totally digging iPad 4. You are. Oh.
I have 7. I'm sorry. They're going to come up.
A lot of us are okay with that.
Would somebody text to Don and let him know we're all here? Would somebody text to Don and let him know we're all here?
He was on. Hi,
Hello,
Kathy.
Kathy Rim.
Hi.
Would somebody text to Don and let him know we're all here?
Mom.
He was on. Hi,
Hello, Kathy Rim.
Hello, folks.
Somebody text to Don and let him know we're all here.
Mom.
Wait, hey, Catherine, how come I can't see you though? Wait, hey, Catherine, how come I can't see you though?
Okay, who's listening to Facebook while we're doing this?
Hello.
Hey, we get kiddos too. Yay.
Hey.
Cats and kids. Yay.
There'll be more cats, I promise.
My husband told me that our cat caught a mouse today and brought it in the house alive because she doesn't kill the mice. She just likes to play with them, and she let it run.
My dog tried to bring me a possum.
Alive and let it go in the house. Lovely. How generous
No.
of your dog.
My patio lizard decided to step into the living room the other day when I had the slider open. He normally suns himself on the rocks outside, but the other day he decided to come inside.
Wanted to visit.
I guess so. You know, I should be processing ranges right now.
We feel blessed that you're here.
I
Yeah,
did
yeah, we got a real need for those.
Yeah, I know. I actually did a handful of BRC ranges for New York folks. So I was getting a little bit tired of looking at pictures and diagrams.
Did you finish the ones from Long Island?
From where?
Long Island. Nassau County, Suffolk County?
Yes. I'm just waiting to get an IMEU addendum for that. But
Awesome, thank you.
Everything's all ready to go. I'm just waiting for that one document.
Okay, I'll make sure you get it.
Were there snow on any of those pictures, Kathy?
Not the New York ones. In some other states, there was some snow in the background. Let's see if this works. There's my patio, no snow there. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, and that Mark too. I just saw Mark Wing on there. Hi, Mark Parco.
How do I change my name?
Get divorced or get married?
Yeah, I did that a couple times. I'm good.
If you click on your picture or you hover over your picture, there's a kind of like a settings thing. It's like 3 dots, and if you click on that, it has a spot that says rename.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a name. Meeting settings?
That's what you get for having an iPad. No, I'm only kidding.
I work. I have.
You could.
Here's it. My office. It's got everything except if I hook up my computer to my monitors, I lose the thing, the camera.
Well, you can be anyone you want today.
But
Okay. I don't know who I want to be.
How about you be iPad number 4 today?
That'll work.
I think she already is.
Yeah, that would not be the worst thing I was called today.
So it looks like Rita has done such a great job. I'll let her continue.
What did I do?
You kept it going.
I just signed on. It was a group effort.
A group effort. Well, that's what this is. It's our opportunity to, as a group, kind of play around with this stuff. I see that Kim Cosgrove is on Facebook, and so is Matt Gentile.
And D. Tompkins and Alan Wood.
So Rita, you gonna do the Facebook page?
I'm hoping that Matt is.
I'm on there now.
Okay. Weren't you in charge for Sunday on Facebook and I got to do the Zoom chat?
Okay, perfect.
Time for you to be responsible, Matt.
That's not possible.
You're not kidding, geez.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, you know, kind of I am.
So just kind of a shout out to everybody. Thanks for showing up tonight. And, you know, the happy hour is just a place for us to talk and say hi to people we haven't seen in a while. Maybe throw out some interesting ideas for topics, and also play with the technology, which I evidently did too much today because now I'm on my iPad, not my computer.
I know an IT guy.
Well, the IT guy, you know, got this brilliant idea of speeding everything up today.
Mm.
It ended in a crash just a few minutes ago, so I figured this was the easiest way to get back in.
There you go.
Good to see Kathy Rim on. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Oh, she's on here? I gotta go.
Try to disguise myself with my alter ego.
Yeah, right.
How's it going in California working from home?
Oh, you know, 6 years, for 6 years before moving to California, I worked from home every day, so I'm used to it.
Well, that's good. Sometimes it's more relaxed. I was trying to decide whether I should wear quarantine Vogue today or actually like get dressed, put a shirt on, comb my hair a little bit. I opted for the second, I guess. Good to see you back, Joni. What's up?
Glad to be back. Day, I don't know, 17, 18 of no work and bored out of my mind. So that's what I'm doing.
You know, I can't believe people are bored. I've got so many things I'm trying to do and can't get to. The round to it.
I don't even know what day it is anymore.
But you have to go to work every day, don't you, Steve?
No, as you
No?
can see.
What's going
I've been
on
working
there?
from home.
Really?
Yeah. They just told us to stay home and do professional development and personal development, which is this right now, and PT. So that's what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
That's pretty awesome. How do you like Ohio?
It's pretty nice. I wish I could actually teach some courses out here, but other than that, it's, you know, the area's nice.
How
Schools
far
are
are you from, how far are you from Troy?
I'm about 30 minutes from Troy, so close enough to teach out there. I just haven't made it out there to meet
Yeah.
them yet.
Yeah, check in with Jason once this all stops, changes, whatever.
We're all on hiatus. It's okay. Don't feel like we're singling you out of one form or another.
Yeah, I think I'm busier than I ever have been.
Hey, Al, Texas wants to do a QASCC in July.
Oh, Lord. July? I don't want to. Okay. You can do that one.
We'll just make Ray go. It'll be a small
Right.
one.
I have somebody on Facebook that has a question and wants to know how come motorcycle training is not considered essential.
Well,
Anybody care to answer that?
I'll wade into this a little bit. First of all, this is not any particular organization. So when we speak here, we speak of our own fruition, and we're not tied to any organization. So anything that you would hear wouldn't be official anyway. However, in one of the forums on Retsorg today, it's been bantered about actually the last couple days, and certainly we've seen it on the Facebook page quite a lot. The bottom line is anything that we can do to make this worse than it already is probably a good idea. including, not being in a group, training, receiving education. And I think the longer we can do this, taking a rest, a break, do professional development, a little self-directed learning, probably the more we're helping the overall crisis in society. But that's just Don's opinion.
Thank you very much.
The real determination about whether or not it's essential lies with the state and what they have listed as guidelines for essential businesses. And if anybody's in doubt about that, I'm sure there's a protocol within each state to contact whatever agency to determine that. I've been told by some folks in some states that they checked and they are considered essential because it's traffic safety. In other states, they're all shut down. So I think it's not a global countrywide thing. Of course, MSF's position, we recommend everybody stop training, but we can't make everybody stop training.
Thankfully, in Wisconsin, they've decided liquor stores are an essential service.
There you go. They have their priorities, right?
Let's just hope that there are no DUIs for rider coaches out of all of this. I deal with enough of them as it is.
Well, they can't go anywhere, so they can drink all they want.
Yeah, but the first thing to go is judgment, so.
That's kind of what I thought this was going to be with happy hour. We'd all get our own drink.
I
For
thought
social distancing.
So where's yours, Steve?
Yeah, it's in the fridge. My daughter's still awake, so.
Well, go get it. We can cheers.
There you go, Max. Max got his drink.
Your daughter's still awake. That means she can go fetch it for you.
That's true. But I also have to do PT still after this, so if you ever PT on a beer, that's not really that much fun.
I was under the
maybe
same
that's
thought. I brought mine.
I do have mine. I'm in for the night, so.
Me too.
I've got a question for everybody.
That's what the
This
cat
is,
was after.
Hold it. We have a question.
I've got a question for everybody. This is Peter Morton from Georgia. A few hours ago, the governor just put a shelter in place, which means nobody's moving or working or doing much of anything. How many other states have that, and what does your shelter in place entail?
Massachusetts has one right now. Essential businesses only. They have a list of what's essential. And that's basically, it's been that way, I think, for a week or so. And I think they just moved it till mid-April, I believe.
Ohio is as well.
In Georgia, it's for at least the next 2 weeks, and shelter in place means pretty much everything except, what I understand, the medical and those ultra essential services.
California is into the beginning of its third week of stay safe at home. So we've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, we're about a week behind California. We've been in it for 10 days now, and they just extended it through the end of April.
And where are you, Joni?
Louisiana.
Oh yeah, it's bad down there, isn't it?
It is. New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Ours came
Yeah,
today.
but I know with the shelter in place or the stay at home, whatever they want to call it, we are authorized to go get groceries, food, medical supplies if you need them, but it's not just actually stay in your house and don't go anywhere. If you need to go somewhere, it's essential. We're authorized to do that here in Ohio. I don't know how it is for every other state.
So we can go out for walks and things like that. Just no congregating in groups.
How is that being enforced in your locales?
I haven't, it seems to be self-enforced where I am.
Well, they can't really enforce it unless they put in martial law, and that's probably not going to fly.
That's what I was thinking as well, yeah.
Well, and if you're not in a group, no one's going to bother you, so
Right.
I don't see it happening.
Top wants to approach you.
I've heard of instances where parties were busted, basically, and people were ticketed at a big party.
Yeah, I was going to say
I
here.
think that's what the main thing is.
Yep.
Yeah, here the playgrounds and parks, they actually took caution tape, kind of looks like crime scenes, and blocked them all off.
Yeah, we've got that too. There's a little park just maybe a half a range length away from my apartment that I used to go for a walk every day. And now I just have to walk around the edge on the sidewalk because it's the same thing, crime scene tape and stanchions blocking it off.
Yeah, I have to avoid those on my walks because my daughter sees that and doesn't understand. So
He wants to play.
it's a fight getting back to the house.
Yeah, Tennessee only has a recommendation to stay at home. They don't, have anything got enforced. It's really county by county. And our county's only got 2 cases, so we're pretty free.
Alan, do you know if John Milliken is working?
He is working from home
Okay.
and he's receiving email, but you're probably better off sending it to Vanda.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a range info form with his signature on it. It got to me without it. I can't do anything with it, so I kicked it back to the guy. So I was just curious what you knew.
Yeah, he's definitely not in the office.
Okay. I'll reprioritize that one.
Yeah, you may not, and I think he's done the end of the month in April.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I see that Ian Demick just came in. Welcome, Ian. Good to see your face. You still trying to figure it out?
Probably the
Yeah, he
volume.
probably is. Let me give him a call.
He's on his phone. It may be difficult.
That's one of the main points of this, is to learn the technology.
One of the new things in Missouri is our DMV is doing by appointments only.
How much does that slow down things?
Don't know. I get to find out tomorrow. I have an appointment at 12:50.
Doesn't sound like it will be much fun.
Well, actually, the last time I was at our DMV, it was an hour and 20 minutes wait to get my driver's records run. So having an appointment, I think, is going to be much easier.
Could be an immediate get in and get out.
That's, I think, what they're planning on.
There you go, Ian.
Say that again.
It's
One of the
right now,
things,
Ian.
yeah. One of the things that I put out this week is we're still searching for future topics. So if you have something you want to post on Facebook or in the chat room here, or you can go to the website and click the link for the anonymous topic selection. And so that way we can kind of keep ahead of deciding what the topics will be on Sundays. And so we'll leave that, of course, for the Tribe Talk on Sundays, but it doesn't hurt to maybe venture there a little bit in this forum either.
Don, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you mute somebody who's on a telephone?
Is there somebody you want me to mute?
I'm just asking if you can do that. There is a phone that's open, and every time there's a pause in the conversation, it comes up with a phone icon and the number.
That would be Miss Sarah Kay, and I don't know if she's trying to talk and we're not hearing it. I did just message her to let her know that. But yeah, Don, I think you can mute, right? I don't know how, even though you say I'm the host.
Wait, I can hear you. You know that, right?
Oh, there you are. Yes. We weren't hearing you.
No, I've been on the whole
time.
I know your phone keeps popping up like you're talking. Anytime the person who's talking, what happens is their face generally pops up on a bigger screen, or it gets marked to know that they're the one who's talking. Your phone keeps displaying on the main screen as if you were talking all the time, but we don't hear you talking all the time. So I don't know if it's not muting when you think it is.
It's almost as if she just has an open line and just listening.
The bottom line is yes, I can mute, but I got to find out who it is, and maybe that takes me a while, a little bit slow.
There is a way, and I was just trying to research it. If you do call in through a phone, I believe it might be the asterisk or the pound. One of those
that
will
work?
mute and unmute.
Can you hear me now, Ian?
Yeah.
Well,
I was on mute. I'm learning. I don't know how to do this. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's why we're here, brother.
No, but please stay on mute, Ian. We don't want to hear you.
I can see his hand is raised too, which is a great technique to get our attention in Zoom. So if you don't know where the hand is, it's just below the little bar or part of the bar.
Yeah, my hand's up, but I didn't know what it was. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off.
So if you touch it again, it'll go off.
I don't see hand anymore. Participants. Oh, I got to go to participants. My hand's not up anymore.
I got you.
There it is. Now it's gone.
How you like that? Who else is exploring some of what Zoom has to offer here?
I did just look something up. If somebody is on phone, they can do a *9 to raise their hand or *6 to toggle mute and unmute.
Well, this is all new to me, so I'm learning from you guys.
That's why we're here. Tim, I saw that your hand was raised. Do you have a topic or a question?
Did you say me, Ian?
No, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Nice helmet.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go right now. I'm changing. That's why I turned the camera.
We appreciate that.
For sharing, brother.
You know, there's a reflection off your helmet. We can see everything.
Oh, the places we will go.
Stephen from Ohio. How close are you? Are you in Columbus by any chance?
No, I'm in Dayton. So I think that's about 45 minutes. I think I've been here for like 2 months, so still learning the area.
I was just curious. There is an awesome motorcycle store in Columbus, well, actually in Westerville, that you might want to check out. It's called Iron Pony.
I will put that down.
Yeah, they give a good rider coach discount too.
So Todd, would you mind introducing yourself? I'm not familiar with you.
I realized I was talking for like 3 minutes, and now I know no one was replying because I was on mute. I have a topic. I know you just asked if Todd had something to say, but I have a topic. I have to leave shortly. My wife's complaining because I'm not home. I'm still at work. But it was something I asked during the last chat when you guys, the first chat on Facebook, I guess is what it was. I'd like to ask a question. Is that all right?
Please do.
So, as you guys know, well, maybe, I don't know the majority of the people in here, but I'm active duty military. I just moved from Germany. I taught a lot for the Air Force in Germany. And I'm concerned. Concern is probably the wrong word. I want to initiate, if possible, some more MSF-related events. If it could possibly be pushed from the top down. I don't know if MSF has any ambition, but get more involved in military service members. It's the system is horrible. The commanders, obviously, I know you guys aren't going to speak to commanders and stuff, but if MSF offered some program, maybe, I have a bunch of ideas. Obviously, they're probably wazoo. I don't know about getting bikes for actual courses. I mean, I know MSF is huge, but currently it's ran by civilian contractors, which is perfectly fine. But we're lacking knowledge base within the military community when it comes to rider coaches, for one, because since it's been contracted out to civilians, they're not training trainers anymore. I know very few rider coach trainers. There are still rider coaches around, but it's all on the soft side. When I say soft side, I mean special operations, the regular Army, which is what I'm in now. It's non-existent. I'm currently in 82nd Airborne Brigade. I fall under a company within the division, and to my knowledge, I am the only one. There may be one other, but that's out of 15,000 people or more, and there's a plethora of riders. So I'm just concerned with the knowledge base, the training they're getting, and the MSF as a whole integrating themselves into the military community. I think it's not as good as what it could be.
Ian, we should talk at some point. I actually do a lot of work with the military. I manage a contract for SOCOM actually, and I deal with the other contractors as well. And I know MSF is working on a military mentoring program, but touch base with me at some point, and we can talk a little bit further.
Okay.
Okay, if you look in Red Sorg under the member finder, just look up, my first name is Kathy, last name is Rim. If you just search by my last name, R-I-M-M, you'll find my cell phone number.
All right, that one thing I wanted to add is, although I have a bunch of ideas, I'm not special by any means, but I work a lot. And although I want to push a lot of programs, I just got to this unit and there's a lot of things that I need to fix. And I haven't even been able to get out to teach a course yet, which it's killing me. But finding the time we need a representative that they can solely dedicate themselves to it. It's that I think we need that's how much attention to detail is needed, at least in the Fort Bragg area.
Oh, you're at Fort Bragg. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's talk when you have some time.
Okay.
Thanks for answering that, Kathy. I really appreciate it. It's so helpful to have smart people like you around.
Don, this is Todd. Can you hear me now?
I can. Good to hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Told me to hold my space bar and talk.
So where are you from, Todd? Give us some background.
So a little background. I'm from Tampa, the Odessa area. I coach with Mark Parco and Kim Ray, who are both on this phone call. Mark's been my mentor for the probably the past 10 years. So it's a good thing. And Kim's been worked with her for the past couple of years.
Well, it's good to meet you. Thank you for jumping in there and introducing yourself. one of the key things I thought this happy hour would do is allow us to meet other people of like minds and be able to put a face to a name and share a little bit more. So I appreciate that you stepped forward when I asked.
So I guess for me, a lot of you guys probably don't know who I am. Stephen Parsons. I worked with Ian and Don in Germany, and I recently moved to Ohio at Wright-Patterson, active duty Air Force. So like Ian, I'm very interested in the military MSF relationship and how we can make that better. I know for the Air Force, it is required for us to take a BRC and a BRC2 every 5 years. I always encourage all my riders to take them as often as they can. As long as they're not paying for it out of pocket, why not? I always take something away from it, even when I'm teaching. So the more training, the better. And but I definitely could see more chance or more I don't even know, opportunity for MSF to grow and have more courses and whatnot with the military. And unfortunately, they don't even have rider coaches here. Everything's contracted out, I guess, on base here.
One thing that the Air Force did that was different from the other branches is that they chose to keep teaching the BRC so that they could keep their rider coaches certified, when the other branches had their contractors doing everything, and they lost a ton of rider coaches by that process, which has been a challenge.
Hey, Christopher, now that you're not lurking in the shadows anymore, you want to test out your sound?
Yeah, it works.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Kathy, how are you?
Pretty good.
Well, since I got my audio on, I'm Christopher with the state of Illinois. I'm a state coordinator for the Illinois Cycle Rider program. So glad to be here.
How are things going in Illinois, Chris?
We're at a standstill.
Do you know if any of the riding academies there are operating?
That I couldn't tell you. You'd probably want to talk to Larry Wood.
Okay.
He runs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He runs the big one up in Chicago area.
Windy City or something like that.
Yeah, Windy City. They've got like 10 or 15 sites now.
Yep. Yeah. I've forgotten that they were all pretty much branched under him these days.
Yeah, and then there's only one other one in southern Illinois, down by the St. Louis area.
Okay.
But we're all at a standstill at least until May 15th, from what we've been told.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, lots and lots of classes have been canceled.
Yeah. Virginia, I hear it's June 10.
10?
Yeah, June 10th for Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way out.
We our governor just extended the stay-at-home order until the end of April, and they're already talking about extending it until June. They said that the Illinois region is supposed to peak sometime mid to late April. So if that happens, it'll be right in the middle of when it's going to be released. So they probably will not open us back up.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty challenging for the states that are seasonal if this goes on really long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some of them haven't started yet. They would be right now if they could.
Yeah, the good thing about the state of Illinois is it doesn't cost any students anything.
Right.
So, the students aren't out any money or, have to wait for refunds or anything like that.
Christopher, given the current situation and being shut down that long, what are some of the things that you have thought about to ramp up when there is a possibility of running? And is it possible to run more classes and play catch up to certain?
That's what we're working out logistics now. A lot of our sites run single classes on a weekend, and if things go the way we hope, we might be able to ramp up and do back-to-back classes where one class is on range and one class is in the classroom, and then flip-flop at lunchtime, so we can put 2 classes in a weekend to fill up a void.
Is there the capability to do classes during the week?
At some locations.
How
Not
many
all.
sites are using the Ecourse?
Just a couple of sites. We're trialing it right now.
Hi, Carol here. I also teach for SIU, Southern Illinois. And I know, of course, I heard from Jared today that we're shut down again for another month for sure. And he's also asked any of us to let him know any additional availability. We sometimes run, we can probably run up to 4 classes, I think, on a weekend at SIU. And of course, Carbondale, they can run a lot more than that. But we also have to follow the state guidelines and the college guidelines right now.
Oftentimes night can be an issue with lighting if the parking lot's not really well lit.
Mm-hmm.
If the area is not well lit, it can be an issue. Yeah, there's, there are sites where there's some light, but it's surprising how much light you need to see everything well.
Mm-hmm. Most of our classes that run that second class usually end about 7 o'clock or right about that time. So it's an issue of light is not a problem, but they do have a few sites that do run night classes, but the ranges are designed so that they have the extra light that's needed. Couple of ranges I can think of is Illinois Central College. They run a weeknight class, and I think Carbondale has a weeknight class that they run. But Carbondale, oh, go ahead, Rita.
At one point, someone who is a rider coach and also does, at the time was doing rentals for construction companies, was trying to figure out if night classes could be run by using the lighting that highway construction crews use to light up the area pretty brightly. And I don't know whatever happened with that exploration, but it might end up being more of something to be explored with the current conditions and trying to get training in the seasonal areas.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chris, when you do a night class, how many nights do you schedule that for?
It's either 4 or 5 nights.
Okay.
Like Illinois Central College, one of our regional centers is our regional center hubs. Maybe we're running classes like Monday through Thursday from like 5 until 9 or 4 until 9, or a 4-hour class. Illinois State University was also another site that did night classes like that. I believe Joliet Junior College in the Joliet area also runs night classes, but they run limited just because they have night classes for other things too. So the range area is kind of limited to use, but those are real well lit areas that they could use those.
Now, when you do a weekend class, is it just 2 days, or how do you schedule that in your?
Our requirements in Illinois are 20 hours.
Okay.
So we do usually a weeknight from 6 until 10, and then Saturday and Sunday for 8 hours. And we do the full level 1 and level 2 curriculum.
Okay. So is there any reason why you would not do that for a night class? In other words, do a half a night and then 2 full nights? They
do it just based on availability, because the college that they run these at usually has students on campus until 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and then we come in after the students have left and cleared the parking lots.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I was just curious why you did night classes. You did an extra day, travel day to get there. In essence, you're doing 4 days, where regular classes you're doing 3.
Yeah, it's just for scheduling because you only have it for that period of time. And they try to make flexible schedules for anybody that can make it. It'd be nice if you could run a night class in 3 days, but it doesn't. I don't think it would work.
Does anybody else do any night classes?
In Missouri, we do at one of the sites I teach at. I teach out Illinois and Missouri, and we do run it 4 evenings, Monday through Thursday.
Same question then. Is there any reason? What's the reason that you just wouldn't run your regular schedule but change it at night?
Well, it's kind of hard for somebody who's been working all day to go 8 hours more. So we just have it for like 4 hours or 4 to 5 hours, Monday through Thursday.
And you don't think that the people that would work different shifts or off during the week or whatever would be appealing if you would do a longer 1-day schedule versus stretching it out?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work out that well. And we usually have all of our evening classes full. I could pull up the schedule, and right now that location, we're canceling classes because of the stay-at-home orders from the county here.
Well, I'm just talking in general, not necessarily right now, but
Yeah.
the other thing is when you do your night classes, do you have an issue of people coming in late, and does it mess up your timing, having that many times to different days to show up?
We tell them in advance, you have to be on time because we are a 100% waiver course for the state.
Right.
And so they have to be 100% in attendance.
Okay.
If
And then
they're late, they're sent home.
but it's not been an issue.
Not usually.
Okay.
Add lighting to our parking lot to make it better for when we do have issues with it getting dark early.
You don't have lights?
We do. We added additional to the parking lot to make it easier for the instructors to be able to see what the students are doing.
Anybody else doing any night classes?
There was a question about who is using the Ecourse and doing the pilot in Illinois. Who else is using the Ecourse, and do you find it advantageous so that you can condense the time at the course?
Well, Little Rock is using the Ecourse, and we find it very exciting, and it gives us more time for the range, and because at least the students that we're teaching and have gone through the Ecourse are very prepared by going through the Ecourse. The review is just phenomenal. It's done quickly, and they are taking a lot out of that Ecourse. It is just great.
So Sal, are you doing level 2 classroom then?
Yes, we are.
That's what we're doing in Georgia as well, and it works real well.
We're using
I love it.
New York's been using Ecourse for years.
Hey, if I could chime in real quick, I'm going to put my video off and just, I won't be able to take it off mute. I'm going to throw my phone in the back and start riding home and just listen to you guys, but I won't be able to talk anymore, okay?
Thanks, Ian. We really appreciate you stopping in and listening, okay?
No, I thank you for making me use my phone and this, technology.
Ride safe, Ian.
I will. Have a good day.
I was going to say, we've been using the Ecourse in New York with the level 2 classroom, and sometimes students' retention of the Ecourse material is a little bit mixed, but there's so many places within both the classroom and the range to kind of naturally incorporate Ecourse topics as review that, at the end, everybody's pretty dialed in.
One of the feedbacks I got from the state of Connecticut when I was over there a little over a month ago is there was a lot of concern about, were people getting anything from the Ecourse? Did it enhance things? And what the program administrator told me there that he was tracking it, and the scores actually went up on the knowledge test at the end when they started doing the Ecourse, despite the fact that people think they weren't actually helping. It was, and he had the data to prove it. And I thought that was a significant takeaway from the discussion is we all have our own biases. We may believe or not believe in it helping out, but he actually proved through the scores of the knowledge test by tracking it that it did. It made them stronger in their knowledge base.
Dawn, did you happen to share that with Ray Oakes?
I can't remember if I did or not.
We talked about it, Kath. So I'm sure he knows.
All right, thanks.
Mike's on here too. I think, Mike, you got an opinion on that.
I was going to say, when we first started using the Ecourse on my own website, I did change the language going out to the students to promote the Ecourse and encourage them to not blast through it willy-nilly, take their time, do a good job, because the content will be important to them, going through their training process and beyond their training process. And that seems to have helped a little bit with the intent with which the students attack it.
It's a lot about how we frame things, isn't it, Lynn?
I think so.
How many of your students, your older students, and when I say the older students, the ones that are over 30 and 40, think that the Ecourse is just a bunch of hokey because they expect an instructor to stand up there and kind of spoon feed them the information? I get some surveys like that, and I've found that it's the age, the older the person is for some reason, and I don't know why, they just don't like the Ecourse. But the majority of all my young people, they just love it.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Sal, because what I do is a survey in the beginning, usually part of the introductions, and I ask them, I tell them, I say, well, we used to cover this information. I ask them how they like the Ecourse, and they go, no. And I say, well, we used to cover that information in the classroom, and usually a question and answer kind of thing. What would you prefer? Cover that in the classroom or the Ecourse as you did it? And it's overwhelmingly high 90% that they, regardless of age, that they like the Ecourse much, much better. So it might be the way that it's presented when you get them there, or your coaches when they get them there, that and they're not following up using follow-up information during the classroom, the level 2 classroom, and more importantly on the range, to look for opportunities to draw that Ecourse information out and make it real. Like the exercise 11, for instance, this is where you put in the 2-second following distance, 4-second urgent path. You put in search, setup, smooth, search, evaluate, execute, and look for those opportunities, perhaps.
So another question I have, and this is just throwing out to the entire group, how many have contact with future rider coach candidates and have invited them to come along on this journey, to jump on in to the happy hour or the tribe talks on the weekend?
I don't have anybody in the pipeline right now.
What?
I know, right?
Well, we're not supposed to be socializing with anybody right now. So.
Tim Berkey here. I am one of the rider coach candidates that was invited to join.
Yay.
Welcome, Tim. I'm glad you're here. That's refreshing to hear.
Well, and you can also nod to Mark Parko, who extended the invitation to me.
No, we can't give him any public credit.
Well, if this continues, once we get back up and running, we we'll have rider coach candidates. I think we're going to suggest that they might sit in on these and get some information.
Why
Tim,
would you
wasn't
do
it?
or
What was that?
what would be the intent, and why do you feel that?
You know, just to get a different perspective so that they can see what other people think and how how the process works at different areas.
Is it interesting for everybody to hear what's going on in the different places and how things are different, but also how things are the same?
Yes, I think so.
Who was that?
That's me, Todd. Yes, I do think so. And that's why I'm joining, just so I can hear what's going on in different states.
Okay, cool.
I think in general, the more that coach candidates know about the program before they come in or as they're coming into it, the better, because, you know, maybe somewhere along the line a decision is made, gee, this isn't for me, or wow, I really like this is awesome. But you know, it's not a good use of our resources to have people come in and then bail, you know, at some point because they're it wasn't what they expected. So I think being really straightforward and honest about what it is and what the expectations are and what you'll need to put into it to come back out, you know, successfully at the back end and to have fun doing this going forward is important.
Brings up a great question, Lynn, and I'm glad you kind of gave me, you know, that thought to jump back into my mind here. So how many people do expectation management? And the reason why I ask this, I'm going to set the stage a little bit, is that I'm working with a work group out of Michigan right now who are considering better ways to recruit and get people in to be candidates. How much expectation management, front loading, or auditing do you make other candidates do on your sites, just out there to the masses?
In Illinois, several of our regional centers require candidates to become range aides prior to going through IP. That way they can see what goes on the range and know what goes on and how it works and know the basic setup. And if they still feel the same way after they've taught a given number of classes, I think it's 3 or 5 classes, or worked 3 or 5 classes, not taught, and they still feel the same way that they want to do that, then they get invited to be a candidate in one of the IPs that is in that regional center.
So I'll ask a deeper question after that. Why has it been determined that you needed to go that route?
It just seems to be, you get a better quality candidate because they have an idea, a full understanding of what really goes into the job. And it's not a foolproof answer. I mean, trying to get people to become range aides or even to fill the classes, it's like pulling teeth sometimes.
I think one of it's always a big challenge to find coach candidates, and you know, here in New York, they need to take a BRC as a student. They need to shadow at least one BRC as a student. As a third person on the range, you know, and kind of tag along with the coach. And you know, I know when I'm hosting a coach candidate, I'm explaining to them what's going on in my head, you know, while the exercise is unfolding, you know, explaining how the range cards work. And, you know, maybe I'm out of the range, you know, as the first coach out there for exercise 5, I'm saying, hey, as these guys are leaving staging, I'm watching to make sure they go the right way and they don't get at it to me before the staging clear, et cetera. So I'm trying to give them a rundown, but the more of that they do, I mean, I encourage them as the site administrator, they have to do more than that one. One's not enough. And And here in New York, so many of the training sites are also driving school sites. So we have another layer of certification. So, you know, my recruitment letter, you know, after I've got their ear is pretty, you could say it's discouraging. I want them to know right up front that there is going to be a time commitment to doing this, you know, both before their prep, during their prep, and then after the prep, there's going to be additional shadowing where they're the one that's getting shadowed, you know, with a supervising coach there to help pick up the pieces if things go south. And again, I think that we may lose some people along the way, but they might be the people that wouldn't come out of it as quality coaches, you know, so the commitment level of those that stick around and, you know, are willing to go the distance, I think is better. I can't hear you, Don. You're muted.
I love the word commitment because, you know, we all sit and we do self-reflection, and I wasn't going to go into this, but today's thought, my self-reflection, was about how this kind of discussion starts the talk. It makes the connections between us as rider coaches. And I don't know anything that's as important as that, is talking to each other and making those connections. And that connection that we get from each other from being in a like tribe really helps to foster that commitment to each other and build the tribe. And what commitment is discipline. We are disciplining ourselves to commit to the tribe and talk to everybody and help each other do what we believe. And I think that's one of the reasons why this is so important, that we get together and talk this way. So let me jump back to Mark here real quick. Since you invited a candidate in, what are your expectations for your candidates as they come through? Trying to find your voice.
You're muted, Mark.
When I was muted, I just pressed the space bar, Mark. That's what you told me, and it seemed to work.
The student becomes the teacher.
Hey, that's awesome.
I think I've got it now. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I've got, I think, 4 people that I've invited to the meeting tonight. Several of them I've mentored, some within the past year, some within the past 12 years. And instead of me flapping at their gums, I'd like to hear from them on the process of what they thought the process was as to what got them to the point where they're at and where would they like to get to. In particular, Kim, you know, how did you get involved in it? Joni, Tim, you're first up here as far as being a rider coach candidate for the second time again. I'd be very interested, and I'm sure that our group would really love to hear what any or all of you have to say.
So basically what kind of got me into it is I took the BRC at 32 years old. And then after riding a while, I got really comfortable on my bike, the more skills I practiced, and then I just wanted to learn more skills. So I went to our site manager and I was like, how do I do this? And she said, well, I really want you to come out and just shadow a couple of classes. And the more I shadowed, the more I realized that there are a lot more Jonies, people who have that high level of fear, but they also want to learn. So I really connected with those people. I ended up enjoying being, I guess, a range aide, but I enjoyed doing that. And so when I went to Rider Coach Prep, I didn't stress like I thought. I stressed, but it wasn't hard. Like, I didn't worry about the range setup. I didn't worry about the classroom part because I had been in the motion. The classroom part to me came naturally because what I do is I'm a middle school teacher, but the range setup was easier. And I think it's just it gives you a sense of why you're doing it. If you're doing it for the right reasons, because you're going to come across riders of all different skill levels. You're going to have the rider that thinks they know it all and they've got some bad habits. And then you're going to have the Johnny Ewing riders where I had 0 skills and I had never been on a bike until I was 32.
I had to figure out the iPad. There's no space button. So Mark's the one who got me in this. It's kind of a similar story. So my first time on a motorcycle ever, I was 36 years old on the back of my husband's. So I decided I was going, well, somehow I ended up on a bike. I ended up in the class at 30, God, I don't know how long I've been riding now, 5 years. Yeah, about 38. I went and I took the class, and then I took my bike out and I totaled it on the very first ride. Badly.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it was at my daughter's bus stop in my subdivision. So yeah, that was good. So I waited a couple years, and what I decided when a smaller bike came out, because I started out on a Heritage and that didn't work out well. And so a smaller bike came out, and kind of stuck with the Harley line just because that's what my husband rode. So I went with that and waited for the smaller bikes to come out. So when the 500s came out, I went and I was like, oh, I got this. I didn't have this. I met Mark, and Mark actually got me through a class. I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And he got me on a class and got me back on. And by meeting him and him as a coach and his patience, and I believe Todd was also in there. Todd, you're on, right?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. So Todd and Mark were my coaches right before my 40th birthday. And when I met them, they changed my entire world. So the patience that they had and how they worked with me in particular, and the fear I had and having to work through what happened to me, getting back on a motorcycle. And then after that, I decided that's what I wanted to help other people too. So, because I've met other people that have had similar, not that bad, but have had similar things happen, and they were scared to get back on, and helping them work through that by going back through a class and stuff. So unfortunately, I do not have as much time as I always used to, but it's still something I do enjoy a lot, is helping others with it.
Hi, it's Tim Berkey here. For me, I'm present tonight as a repeat rider coach candidate, and I say that because I was a rider coach for a while, 2013 through about 2016 or 17, and I had to drop back from that for some personal family reasons. And now I'm going through the process of getting credentials again. So I'm going through the whole RCP, and what I've got to say, I've known Mark for a long time. I had been riding for a while before I moved into Florida, which is where I'm at right now. And I can say that every time I've been exposed to more training, I've learned something new about it. And it didn't take me very long to make the realization that I'm a dumb enough person, or I'm smart enough person to know how dumb I am. Because every time I do another class, observe another class, watch other coaches and how they're presenting the class, I'm learning new things. Some of them are good things and things that I want to model. Some of them are not so good things, and I know I don't want to do things that way. What brought me here tonight was an invitation from somebody who has been a part of this since its recent start. And I'm glad I'm here tonight listening to everybody talk from different states, seeing how things are done a little bit differently here or a little bit differently there, but very, very similar across the board. The word tribe has been used. To me, this is sort of the forming or the advancement of an academy where the knowledge is expanded on and grown on, and it gets the input of many, many people. I think this is a great thing, and I'm going to be back at future ones as well.
I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, Don, I got a quick question for the group, if you're open to it.
Yeah, always.
How many in here are running compact ranges versus standard?
I have both.
I work at both here in Missouri.
Yeah, we have both in Mass that I work at.
Okay.
Well, we just let our compact range go, and we now have a full range since we moved to our new site.
Okay. So if we talk about range-specific activities, should we include information on compacts? Is that value there? Or stick with full size?
Do you mean as far as candidates are concerned?
No, just when it's during our tribe talks. You know, like when we talked about, if we talk about this coming weekend, we're talking about, probably exercise 4. And obviously a 4 is run very differently on a compact, with coaching positions, things like that, than it is on a standard. So
Maybe ask the question of that group, how many are using compacts?
Yep, probably will. Just thought this group would be interesting to see too. It doesn't look like there's very many here though.
We use both in Maine. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I have both in Rochester.
Yeah, now the majority of the ranges in Connecticut are compact or modified. There's only a small percentage of full-size ranges in Connecticut.
All right, so it sounds like we're going to do that. And Don, that might be a topic for a future tribe talk, is maybe do the notes and narrative from the compact range. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Just focus purely on compact range of that one conversation.
Sure.
But
Just write it down.
In general, though, like exercise 4, for example, the principles of what needs to happen are very similar between a compact and a full-size range.
Yep, I agree.
And we do it basically, we get to do it both directions on a compact range. The only difference is the fact that you send them to the other start position at some point in time.
Right.
I think compact ranges may be a future norm. We're finding space for a regular size range is becoming more and more difficult. And just going back to a recent conference that I was at, even finding a location where we can do compact without modifying it is getting more difficult because of layouts and how cities are doing things. So I think it's a topic worthy of discussion and something we should all talk about more.
I can tell you that the majority of the range applications coming in are either a modified or an alternate range of some sort. Not that many standard ranges anymore. They're still coming in, but we see way more compact or alternate ranges or modified ranges that have drains or poles than a standard range.
Okay.
Might be able to get a number. I'll have to play around with it and see if I can find out how many standard versus how many compact.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was thinking of. There's subtle nuance differences between them that, like the coaching position is supposed to be in the end of the clutch control lane. It's kind of 2/3 of the way down and things like that.
For those of you using something other than a standard range, how many coaches do you schedule per class? Are you doing it with one or two coaches?
I use one on my compact ranges.
And just one coach, no
I
range
think
aid?
that would depend on the number,
One coach, no
on
range
the
aid.
size of the.
In Missouri, the one compact range I teach at, we will schedule two coaches if two coaches are available. Otherwise, it's one coach and a range aid. And I got a question for everybody. How many three-wheel coaches are out here that are teaching on a compact range?
Ooh, good one.
We do that.
I do that.
Wait a minute, wait, you said that the question was, you're doing a three-wheel class on a compact range?
Yes, we do the three-wheel classes on compact ranges.
Wow.
I was just wondering how many of those sites are out there and how many of us are teaching those.
Good question.
Well, that's a great question, because I was wondering that myself, since we do all the three wheels on a full size range here in the state. So do you have a special book for the three wheels on a compact range, or you're just
a moment, let me pull my book.
I think it's a standard book.
Yes, there are compact range cards for three-wheel.
Okay.
I have two ranges in one location, and sometimes the three-wheel class is on the big range and other times it's on the compact range. The coaches have expressed that they feel the experience is better for the students on the full-size range. But we do both depending on circumstances.
How about anybody doing 8-to-1s? Or is everybody still doing majority 6-to-1s?
That's what we do on either size, is 8-to-1s.
Okay. Is everybody else only doing 6-to-1, or is that a lie where everybody's doing 8?
We're doing 6-on-1s in mass. I think we talked about 8-on-1. We just haven't implemented it yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fred,
it's 6-to-1 in Maine.
If they're Riding Academy, and Sal, I think you can maybe back this up. I believe Riding Academy doesn't allow 8-to-1 even if the range is eligible for it. If I recall correctly, they only allow 6-to-1.
That's correct. Only 6-to-1 for the Riding Academy ranges. What I would like to know is that how you're doing three wheels on compact ranges, because when I applied for a three-wheel on my modified range or alternate range, I didn't qualify because I didn't have enough space. So it'd be very interesting to learn.
What size was that modified range, Sal, and how long ago was that?
My range is 230 by 120.
Yeah.
110, I'm sorry.
So I think the issue is not that you don't qualify, it's that MSF doesn't have diagrams for that size, so you would have to make your own diagrams.
Ah, okay. Open the door for me.
We can talk about that later.
More of that knowledge sharing going on.
I actually do have a question
Are
for the
there
group, if
any
that's okay.
light poles or other?
The last two people stepped on each other. If you could raise your hand, I'll acknowledge you so you can speak. Okay, Stephen?
It could be pretty complex. I don't know the difference between, I've never been in a Riding Academy course. What are the main differences between MSF and the Riding Academy course that they do?
There's no difference. It's just one's called the Riding Academy and the other one's called an MSF course. The only difference is there are a couple extra rules, but nothing that's different.
There's more activities, and generally the time frame is stretched out a bit.
For which one?
But the Riding Academy classes, there's more activities that the motor company has added to the class, and it's generally, at least in Georgia, it's the schedule is a little bit longer than regular state or private classes.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I only ask because my wife is going to have to take a course to the Harley dealership, and I know that they have Riding Academy there, so I'll try to get her ready for it as much as I can, with her being my wife and not wanting to listen to me. But trying to get her ready for it, and just wondering what the differences are. So thanks.
Take my advice, don't coach your wife.
Can I suggest that do they have a jump start? Because that will help her tremendously, along with this experienced motorcycle course that the Riding Academy has just put out. I think will get her on a bike quicker, and she will understand the process in motorcycling when she gets out to the course itself. When she gets on the range, it will help her tremendously. I've been using it for a while now, and the Riding Academy just came out and said, hey, do this motorcycle experience. And it's pretty much just what I've already been doing, because I'm the type of a coach, if you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle and you've never done it, I want you to learn it the proper way. I don't want you to learn it off the street. I want you to learn it from an instructor, and I'm going to show you every detail that you need to know. So that's me, but that you might talk to the Riding Academy out there and see if they're got a jump start to play with.
Okay, thanks.
One other thing, Steve, is on the Riding Academy classes, there's also, if some of the old timers remember the videos we had in previous iterations of the classes, there's a lot of those older videos that are in there too that you are sprinkled around to supplement the instruction in the classroom.
Okay.
So with all the things that we've talked about tonight and shared with each other, I'm going to ask one more time, what topics besides compact ranges and single coaching would you like to talk about in the future during the Sunday Tribe Talks?
Well, I think I might be one of the newer rider coaches. I've only been a coach since October 2017. I would like to hear best practices from you seasoned coaches, find out how to transition from exercise to exercise. Everyone that I work with does it a little bit differently. And I like to hear how you guys do it to see if there's a better way to flow.
All right, got it written down.
I would like to hear a little bit about, because I'm kind of like him. I've only been doing this for about 1.5 years now. And so one of the things that it doesn't really stymie me, it just kind of makes me have to dig deeper for knowledge, is the what if. I have lots of students, and you get them on the range and they'll stop in the middle of the range, and you'll go talk to them and they say, well, what if this happens? What do I do? Or what if I do this? Or what? So far, the way I kind of bring it around is say, well, what if isn't here yet? Let's find out when we get there. So if they're the coaches, the more experienced coaches, maybe could help with those what if situations.
Kind of mentorship, Sal?
Yes, that'd be great. I'm the type of person who needs a mentor and somebody kicking me in the butt.
Me too.
I have another thought is, when is it appropriate to counsel out a student? And the reason I bring that up is I had a student this past weekend that we were talking, the coach and I were, we were questioning ourselves. Should he go? He's met the objectives, and then he rides through a fence. And I second guessed myself and wondering, should I have made that step to counsel that student on prior to him running his motorcycle through a fence? So thoughts around that.
So counseling out, techniques, tips?
Counseling on, when do you make that final decision? Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
What about advanced classes? How do we get more students to buy into taking advanced classes?
That's a good question. What do you recommend?
Well, first off, I think we need to get all of us as coaches, to take the classes too when they're offered. That way we can better promote them as we're doing our wrap-ups with our classes, and try and sell our students that, hey, just because you've taken a BRC doesn't mean that you should stop training. The advanced classes are so beneficial to them. Once you get them going, they actually do want to continue to learn.
Okay, and to clarify a little bit, if you don't mind, when you say advanced classes, what are you talking about? What particular class?
Basic bike bonding, BRC2, ARCs, and even the ultimate bike bondings.
Okay, thank you. So let's try some of the technology out, since we're all still here and we're going a little bit late and we're having a good time. If you have taken an advanced rider course, as defined by Carol, the BRC2, the ARC, MSRC, ultimate bike bonding, raise your hand with the little blue hand thing. Use your technology.
I was trying to figure out how to do it. I got a thumbs up.
Is that it?
I'll take thumbs ups and claps.
How do you do that?
There's also a yes, no feature on there.
Where is the blue hand, Donald?
It should be on your main bar.
Yeah, I've got a bar at the bottom that says reactions.
Yeah,
Right.
reactions. That's what I see.
I don't know. I don't know that the sidebar.
It's a regular hand.
I think if you click on participants at
Reactions
the bottom.
work for me.
Raise hand. Yeah, that's what it is. You got to pull up the chat, basically.
Yeah, if you click on participants, and then you'll get all the different choices.
Okay.
I was going to say, while we were talking about this, one thing or trick that we try is we kind of put little snippets in there. We don't really add anything, but we talk about the BRC being a good foundation, and to try to promote the lifelong learning, we mention that a lot. But a couple of the schools have actually brought in Massachusetts, and I applaud them for it, of giving the BRC2 away for free to graduates of the BRC as long as they take it within 2 years. So some of the schools are giving that away, which is, I commend them for it.
So we tried that in Maine a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where we gave those classes away free in August, I believe it was. We still couldn't get the students to sign up for it. So a lot of the rider coaches took it, which was great, but it's just getting the students there. It's tough.
Yeah, we do have some come back, but not as many as I would like to see that I've seen personally.
Did the numbers increase for you, Josh, when you guys did that?
They did, but not greatly. Like, I was thinking that we'd be selling out classes, and I think it's interesting, right? During the wrap up on the BRC, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing that. I'm definitely doing that. This is so great." But then on the follow through, you don't really see it. I mean, maybe, but I try to teach a lot of them, and I don't see as many coming back as I would like to see. We get more people that are taking it because it's a license waiver course as well. We get the people, "Oh, I've been riding on my permit for 2 years, and that's why I'm taking this."
So when you say follow-up, did anybody reach out to those people that said yes during the class to check on them and invite them back again? Or did you just go off of them saying, yeah, I'll be back?
That's a good question. I'm not sure of. They give them a certificate, but I'm not sure what the specific schools do.
Okay, good enough. Just a question.
I used to have luck, this was way back in the day, in Maine, Glo.
Last year?
Doing ERCs in that era by reaching out to riding groups and clubs and get them as a whole entire group. That way they're all taking a class with people that they know. And that worked out pretty well back then. That was a long time ago though.
We do that too now down in the Tampa area at the different Harley groups. And we've recently incorporated a lot more marketing for the ARC, for the UBB, the BRC tour for Harley. It's the skilled rider course. And that seems to be really taking off to the point we're actually scheduling those classes a couple of times for each one every month. And they're starting to, the numbers are starting to increase exponentially from where they were before. We're really excited about that.
I've also had success with that in the past, reaching out to riding groups and inviting the riding groups in. And in some of the maybe off-standard riding groups that you wouldn't think would want to participate, I kind of went up to the leaders and said, hey, you know, you don't want to be riding with a bunch of people that make you look bad. What we can do for you is bring everybody in to a class, you know, so many at a time, and then you don't have to ride people who scare you, and it always makes your group look better. And believe it or not, that little bit of pressure of looking bad to other biker groups made a big difference.
That's what we do with the Hog chapter in Germany.
I was going to say we do have hog chapters that we do group. There's a couple other groups as well. One of the big things we do with groups is, as an outreach thing in Massachusetts, is bring the SMARTrainer to a lot of events. So we do have groups request the SMARTrainer, and then we try to talk about all the classes and offerings that we have and trying to get a bite. Like I said, I don't have the feedback loop because I'm all over the state, and some of the schools might be getting some of these people, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the actual raw feedback.
Can you expound on what the SMARTrainer is?
Sure, absolutely. It's now I'm going to be put on the spot, but what is it? Safe motorcycling. I trying to think of the actual acronym. But basically it's a traffic simulator for motorcyclists, and we use it as a tool to kind of see what your techniques are when you're riding for scanning and visual acuity and understanding what looks like a trap, what's going to get you in trouble. So it's pretty neat. You go on and it has all the controls just like a motorcycle. It's not going to teach you how to ride. It's not going to feel like a motorcycle, but it actually has the clutch, the shifter, and it's more like direct steering, but really it's a tool where you're out there, you're riding in traffic, and you go through different scenarios, and then it grades you. Hey, there you go. He's got the book right there. Carol has it. Nice, Carol.
So just for a little bit of edification, if anybody's got one of those they want to get rid of, I'm game. Just letting you know.
So yeah, we use it all winter long. We do all the different motorcycle shows and different group activities. The Red Knights, we use that a lot. We have a motorcyclist survivors fund. Their get-togethers, we bring it around. So we basically, MREP owns a trailer, and we basically bring it around to anybody that requests it, really.
Do you find it's a good recruiting tool for students later on?
It can be, and that's one of our intents for it. Really what we try to do at the shows is get the people that have been riding for years that say, I don't need a class, I already have my license. So we try to open that as the dialogue to the lifelong learning or improving your skills.
What success have you had, Carol?
Well, we use it basically primarily now, like at the garage parties at one of the dealerships. I constantly have students thinking, oh, that's how I can learn how to ride a motorcycle. I'm like, no, that's not how you learn how to ride a motorcycle, because this steers so much differently than a real motorcycle. I said, about the best we can do on it is teach you how to use the clutch properly and the gear shift lever. But as far as riding a motorcycle, it's not here to teach you how to ride a motorcycle. It's here to stimulate your brain and teach your brain what to look for when you're out riding. And so it's for those that have been riding for a while. And we were doing rider perception classes, but we haven't seen much of that interest lately.
How did you become certified on the SMARTrainer?
We actually had a group come in, and John Scala, I know you're on. Can you chime in on this? Because I forget who did our class. And he probably has his phone muted.
Oh, here he comes.
There we go.
There, I unmuted it. We actually had Al Heidman from MSF come in and give a group session where we have a couple of smart trainers in the state of Missouri, and we have one at a particular dealership in St. Louis. So we had two smart trainers there and did a group session when Al worked for MSF.
Does anybody know how you can certify now?
The Q Center.
Online.
And where would you find that Q Center at?
Retz.org.
Hey. A little bit of advertising there.
Surprising number of people don't know where it is.
It is. You have to be self-directed and press a few buttons, but when you find it, it's an amazing resource.
Rita, there was a big push in Wisconsin for more SMARTrainer use starting a couple years ago. Have you had any good outcomes from that?
Not really. We had a new Department of Transportation secretary come in, and he really shut down Zero in Wisconsin, our overall outreach program. And we're still kind of waiting for, we have another new secretary now who's decided Zero in Wisconsin is a good thing again. But in the meantime, we threw out all of our old Zero in Wisconsin brochures and information, and we're trying to make things run for outreach with very little published material and just taking the SMARTrainer out to different events. We still take the SMARTrainers out to different events, but without, when you just have the SMARTrainer and we take a driving simulator as well that AAA donated to the outreach program, taking just those out, not having any brochures or any banners or anything to draw people to the booth, it makes it much more challenging to engage people. Teresa Rogers on Facebook asks if anyone has used the SMARTrainer in conjunction with a BRC.
We did a couple times. We didn't do it too often, but one of the schools we ended up going, and it was kind of during breaks. We had it set up. Students could come over. We ran them through it. But I think it was only a pilot. We did it one or two times. So I'm not, I don't know what the feedback side of it was.
Well, it's really intended, if you do use it, to be in conjunction with, not, it can't take the place of any portion of the BRC as I understand it. So it's an extra situation.
So Mark, you got your hand up?
Yes, back to your question about things that we would like to see covered. I'd just like to mention that the very first one that you did, where you talked about learning styles, different types of learners and where that conversation went, that was absolutely awesome. And I would like to see something like that again, maybe segue off of that into other topics. But that was done very well. I think that would be very beneficial for the people that we have on the chat here.
Does anybody disagree that there is just a world full of information that we could cover on this kind of forum?
That's an understatement.
So
Teresa recommended street strategies, getting them to think about what's coming up.
Got it. Thanks. And the list builds. I think I have a job for the next year now. Go ahead, Lynn.
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
All right. So just a little bit of a story, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for tonight. One of my concerns with this forum is being learner-centered. And I kind of saw it take off a little bit better tonight. Instead of talking to the person who starts the conversation, we started talking with each other and started building that social excitement of being in a room with like people, like minds, and sharing our wealth of knowledge with the tribe. And I can't tell you how much I wrote down for myself to go and look at tonight. So I appreciate you all doing that. I was watching my wife today, who is a special ed teacher, and she was working with one of her students. And my concern about being learner-centered was boosted a little bit, because what she did was she had blocks on her table and the video was looking at the blocks. And as she talked through things, her student had his camera pointed at the blocks, showing what he was doing for her. I think there's a lot of possibility that we haven't gotten to yet. And we may not be ready to drop rulers and grab them for everybody to see on this forum, but certainly we're at a point where those kind of ideas coming in can help improve. And that's what this is all about, an improvement culture. So the one word that kept going through, or actually a phrase that keep hearing on the television today, the radio, everybody I talk to, is social distancing. And I'd like to change that a little bit for us, because I think we're getting together socially. Perhaps we are physically distancing each other from the virus and from each other, but I think socially we're coming together as a tighter tribe. And I'd like to invite you all to Sunday and every follow-on tribe talk and happy hour, because I think that's where we're going, to become a tighter community that shares good ideas with so many liked minds. And I really appreciate the fact that you came here tonight to do that and learn a little bit more about Zoom. Any last minute comments from the peanut gallery?
I don't know how to raise my hand, I'm sorry.
I like the thumb, that's cool.
I don't know what to do. It's
That
not an
would be
option on the iPad. I just have a quick question. Regarding trying to find out when all these are, with as convoluted as sometimes the news feeds are, do you send out, is it just go into the rider coaches where we see it, and is it the same Zoom number every time? Is it different?
It's different. Just to keep a little bit of security, I've been changing the number because there's some problem with Zoom, and I don't want just anybody jumping on here. What I will do is I will post it on MSF Rider Coaches on Facebook. If I have your email, I'll put you on the mailing list that will always send out the link once a week. And you can rest assured that if we continue to have the participation that we do every Wednesday night at 7 and every Sunday night at 7 Eastern Standard Time, this is where I'll be.
Okay. All right, yeah, because with my schedule, I can probably right now I can make Wednesdays, but that changes. So Sundays are usually more open. But I just wasn't sure because Mark invited me this time and I didn't see it. And I thought you had my email. So I don't think I got it.
If you haven't gotten it, then I may not have your email, and I apologize.
Okay. Oh, no, I thought you had it already. So I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
You also have to be on the super secret mailing list besides Don having your contact information, right?
Evidently, Mark's super secret mailing list.
He has a decoder ring. He shared it.
Cool. And don't be afraid to reach out me at Facebook, email. You can get my information off of the member finder and Retsorg, whatever it takes. I don't mind. It may take me time to get back to you. I'm kind of busy, but I will. Ray, you kind of snuck in about halfway through. Do you have any comments tonight?
No, I just say keep up the good work, and I like the idea of it being social, and I think it went very well tonight.
This is that pregnant pause. We always have to differentiate whether we should go forward, say something, or just let it ride on. So I'm going to close her down, and really appreciate it. Have a good night. Take care, everybody. Keep healthy and safe, and hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye. Yep. Have a good night. Thanks again.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Mark.